Welcome.
For those
Well,
who are just joining us virtually, welcome. For everyone who's just joining us in the room, welcome. My name is Sara Ellis Conant. I'm co-founder and CEO of A Plan Coaching, and I'm delighted to welcome you to 2025 and to this webinar on creating a wonderful new year. I'm delighted to be co-facilitating this webinar with my dad, Dave Ellis. Dad, I'll turn it to you to say whatever you want to say by way of welcome.
yeah, and it's great to see you. So many people that I know, some brand new people. I want to add a little bit to Sarah's introduction of herself because although she is the CEO of a very successful coaching company, more importantly, related to today's webinar, she practices what she teaches and what she trains her coaches to do. I know that she's done this process that we're about to do with her family, with her husband, with her women's circle. And it's one of the things I so admire about you, Sara, is that you don't just talk the talk, you actually walk the walk. And so, congratulations, Sara.
Thanks, Dad. Well, I certainly learned it from you. Before I was leading these goal setting webinars myself, I was taking them with my dad. And um, for those of you who don't know, Dave trained me as a coach from 98 to 2000. And Bill Rentz was the first coach I ever had. So I learned so much about how to be a great coach from you, Bill. And yeah, just thrilled that we get to pay it forward by offering this place of planning for the new year together, Dad. So thank you for your partnership.
Up on the
Um,
screen is going to be the purpose of our workshop of this, which is a webinar, but it really is a workshop because what we're asking that you do is participate fully. Please get a pen and a paper to do the exercises, or I know some of you like to type, but the purpose of our time today is for you to begin to create 2025 as one of the best years of your life filled with authentic happiness. Wow. Yeah. Vibrant health, deep intimacy, full celebration, and meaningful contribution. It's something, as I mentioned, that Sara does every year and I do every year. I've spent a lot of time doing what we did on our last webinar of reviewing last year. And it's this time of year that throughout uh, much of human civilization, people have paused and looked forward. As the sun gets brighter and the days get longer, we can create the next year. And we do that in writing, first of all, and in our imagination, so that it's really one of the best years of your life, not just an extension of last year.
Thanks, Dad. Well, as is our tradition at A Plan, we always like to start our webinar after clarifying our purpose with a centering. And today our centering is going to be around planning your 2025 from a space of contentment, from a context of sufficiency. We know as coaches, that's why the first step in our coaching method that we all use as A-Plan coaches that is based on what I learned from my dad is to start with gratitude, with knowing that we are safe and supported and loved. So I want to invite you, if you're comfortable, to close your eyes down or just find a soft gaze. You're welcome to turn your computer off or your screen off for a moment if you feel more comfortable, but just use this as an opportunity to turn within. And as you lengthen your breath, breathing slowly in through your nose, holding at the top of the breath, and then gently exhaling through the mouth, knowing that all is well. in the grand scheme of things. Connecting with the gratitude you have for all that is working in your life. That there is enough. That in this moment you are safe. You are well supported. You are loved. Starting from this place will bring more joy to you and to those around you, starting from clarity that your life has already worked out beautifully. And now there's space to dream of something even better. So inhaling again, sufficiency and contentment, holding at the top of the breath. And as you exhale through your mouth, releasing any anxiety, tension, anything that doesn't serve you as we go into this creation process for the new year. Inhaling peace, love, gratitude. And exhale anything that doesn't serve you. One last time together from all corners of the world, feeling us breathing collectively together. Inhaling sufficiency and contentment. And exhale. And when you're ready, please open your eyes, come back to the room. And Dad, I'll pass it to you to talk about planning from the future back.
That's what I'm asking that you do now in this space of contentment and satisfaction, in this knowledge that the world is working now just the way it should be. And maybe even your life and all parts of your life are working exactly the way they should be. And from that space of a contentment, I'd like you to imagine that the year is complete. So I want you to stand in the future so that you can look back on what occurred. Of course, just in your imagination. So as you begin to think about what it would be like at the end of this year, what do you see? In every area of your life, what can you imagine has occurred? So from that place, from that future, then you get to step back and say, well, what is possible for this year? What can how can I feel differently? What can I see in my imagination? What can I hear? Because as I mentioned in the invitation to many of you, what we'd like you to do is have today be a little different than some of the webinars, some of the interactive Zoom meetings that many of you attend, so that you do look at how can I use this? That's your question for you. How can I be different? What can I do differently? Now we'd like to hear from you.
Well, I think first we want to give folks a few minutes to write. Yeah.
Sure,
um,
absolutely.
yeah. So we're going to stop talking and just give you a full minute, and then we will invite a few of you to share. But as you imagine 2025 as your best year yet, as you think about December 31st, and what you can look back and say, here's what made 2025 the best year yet. Take 1 minute to just write. Wonderful. So now we're going to put you in breakout rooms of 3. You'll be there for 5 minutes, so a little over 1 minute per person to share what from the future, from contentment, what are you envisioning for yourself for 2025? We'll see you back here in 5 minutes. You should be receiving a prompt to join, or you'll be pushed there automatically.
If you,
And Dad, shall I go ahead and put up the categories now? Or
sure,
do you?
yeah.
Welcome back from your breakouts. I hope you had some rewarding connections. Debbie, so nice to see you. Glad you're here.
Rebecca, it's been a long time. Good to see you.
Just waiting for everyone to come back. Here, welcome back, everyone.
Now, what I'd like to have you do is start to look at every area of life. I'm going to speak about these briefly. You can write while I'm speaking, and then I'll be quiet. I'm going to be quiet this time, not for a minute, but about 2.5 minutes, which might sound like a short time. And it's time enough for your subconscious to bubble up and remind you what you want in this next year in the area of happiness. Sarah, if you go back one, what do you want in the area of happiness regarding uh, your mood or your emotions? What kind of emotional shift do you want? Your attitudes, your values, this whole domain of happiness. What do you want different? And in the domain of love, your primary relationship or your family or your friends, your coworkers, your clients, in every domain of what you love, uh, what do you want to add in there? Again, in just a minute or so, I'll be quiet for 2.5 minutes so you can really focus on what's on your screen and begin to write what regarding your health, like what you eat and drink, your diet. What do you want? Your exercise, even your flexibility, uh, any challenges you might have, health challenges, sicknesses or illnesses. What do you want there? Wealth, your budgeting, your savings, your long range planning, retirement, regarding purchasing. Is there something you want to do or get rid of? And then lastly, contribution. Any organizations, any leadership roles in your life, your donations, your family. Uh, what do you want? All right, I'll be quiet. 2.5 minutes. Please write. Almost another minute. Keep writing. Look at the screen. What else do you want in every one of those areas? All right, thank you. Thanks for thinking. Thanks for dreaming, imagining, writing what you want. What do you really want? What would just make your heart sing?
So now we'd love to hear from a number of you. And one of the reasons we invite you to share is to make it more real for yourself. We think that we're more likely to realize goals that we share with others, and also for you to be an inspiration. So if you hear something that someone else shares that they want and you're inspired by it, you can add it to your list of what you want to create for 2025. So you can raise your virtual hand by clicking the react button and raising your hand, and we'll call on you to unmute yourself. Rayona. So fun, Rayona, that I know you through thought leader gatherings 20 plus years ago. And then you know my dad through a whole nother, through Tammy White, I think. So glad you're here. We'll invite you to unmute yourself.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so just would you like one from each category or just outflow?
How about your top three?
Okay. Well, top three is always health first. So all my biomarkers within the normal range. And I usually have an annual 100 lab tests. So that would be all of those are within the normal range. I want to recover my agility and mobility. I just had a hip replacement and I probably got to have some knees fixed. So I want that. And then I also want to create and live by a sound and satisfying budget.
Awesome, Rayona. Love those. Love seeing you so vibrant. And so like Rayona, if you are wanting some breakthroughs or some tracking, I love that you're doing testing of all those 100 biomarkers. I love my blood work too, to test my hormone levels and my cholesterol and everything. So you could add those to your list. Thank you, Rayona. Jen,
Okay.
we'll go to you.
So what struck me in writing was when I got down to contribution, and it became really clear to me that really now is a time for me not to contribute, that now is really a time for me to stay intensely focused on me and how different that feels from so many other times in my life, and that by really getting myself healthy and organized and calm and all of those things, that then is going to reflect out in its own way to contribute. So it was just so shocking to, as me, as a woman, as a mother, as a community organizer, as someone who's always sort of in leadership, to feel like, oh, actually, nope, it's not my time to contribute. Other people can contribute. It's going to be could be a very challenging year for some people, and it's okay for other people to be in charge.
Yes. I love that, Jen. Thank you. So glad you're here with us. Jen's husband and my husband have been best friends since they were 3 years old. So it's really, and yeah, you contribute so much just by being in the world, Jen. So I'm glad you're filling your own cup this year, putting on your own oxygen mask. Bridge.
Greetings, everyone from Boston. Hi, Dave, and nice to meet you, Sarah.
Sure.
So in your generous listening, I'll express this aspiration that my first intention is to have a loving, fulfilling, and affinity-filled relationship with my 3 adult daughters, and also with my younger sister, with whom I need to heal certain things. So I'll express that. And my second intention is to find an inspiring, joyful way of earning a livelihood. I'm partially employed now, but if I look back from 2025, I want to say, wow, what a wonderful year. I found this amazing way of working that makes me happy and meets all my needs and allows me to travel to India and so on. But while listening to my partner, Julie, I felt inspired to say that I'll up the goal and say that in 2025 I'll have enough wealth to actually retire, which I was just thinking like a small. I just want to find fulfilling employment and all that. But listening to Julie and her confidence, I felt like, oh, I can just say, hey, why not? We're just dreaming. This is what we want, right? So I'll have enough wealth to retire and have freedom over my time.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
go ahead.
Really
Thank you,
like
Bridge. We're
where,
going for best year yet, so I love that. Go ahead, Dad. Yeah,
well,
thank
I really like what you mentioned, Bridge, which is that we're listening generously. And so for all of you, even if you don't get a chance to share with the group, there's such power in being listened to in a way that we believe that that's possible. So thanks for reminding us, Bridge, of
Right.
how we
I was
get
just struck by like I was so being so small, even in dreaming. You have not even said think small. You said dream. And I was looking at anyway, I'll stop here so that others can share. Thank you so much, Dave and everyone. Loved being here.
Peter.
I think from a being standpoint, being more spacious, loving, and ease-filled while I'm continuing to contribute at a really high level, and really dialing in how I'm working with clients, so showing up that way and really clear, and that they're producing big results and that they're wanting to sign up for more and selling big pieces of work. And living from the budget that I created last year, but really implementing it this year and saving in such a way that we can go back to fixing some of the deferred maintenance on our home here in Sonoma, among many other things, but those are a few.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful, Peter. I love what you mentioned, which is a being goal. And Vimla and Norma and Don, we will hear from you in just a moment, but I want to take Peter's sharing and use it as an inspiration for us all to think not only about the domain of having, right? So many of you shared circumstances, a deeply fulfilling job, enough money to retire, an improved relationship with your closest loved ones, like was shared. So again, add those to your list if you're inspired by others, and then also we want to invite you to think about, if you don't have any doing goals on your list yet, what actions do you want to take? What projects do you want to take on? What activities do you want to engage in 2025? And then, as Peter shared, the realm of being, right? I love, and Peter, I share your joy to be loving and joyful and easeful. Spaciousness is also one of my being goals for the year. What values do you want to embody? What purpose do you want to live by? And what attitudes do you want to have? So we'll stop talking now for a minute and give you another opportunity to just write and reflect for 2 full minutes on what do you want in all domains for 2025. Take another 30 seconds. You can review your list. Are there some having goals, some doing goals, and some being goals?
All right. We'd like to hear from many more of you. So you can raise your virtual hand, and we'll start with Vilma. Vilma, go ahead.
Imla.
Yeah, hey, thanks. So yeah, I had written, for the previous question, when you asked about what makes you happy, I think the thing that occurred to me was balance, because that is something I'm hoping to find, more of a balance and not excess of anything. If I can get a balance between the things that I like to do, to sort of pursue spirituality, to write, and to travel, and to be useful to others around the house. I want to be able to do that, but also find time for myself to work out, to take care of my health. And that was the first thing that came to mind. And in terms of the second part, what do you want to do about it? I just feel that where I live right now, I don't feel a sense of community. So the thing that I've been thinking about is, what do I do to 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 make sure I can, build something so I feel I belong, and I can just get to know my neighbors better. Simple. Maybe something like a block party in summer, or something to just feel a sense of community where I live. That's something I would like to do. And I write, so I would like to, I want to help, with college essays, maybe volunteer my time so I can tutor, someone. So those are the two things that I want to do, maybe for this year, 2025. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Vilma. And what I see in here when you're sharing is that you've combined a couple of the categories, the contribution and happiness, and then you've also looked at the way of being, the values that you want to bring into your life this year. One of those is more emphasis on balance. So, thanks. And now, Norma. We can
Unmute.
see you.
There we go.
There you go. There you are. Thanks, Norma.
Hi, greetings from Bermuda. Greetings from Bermuda. Okay, so what do I want by the end of 2025? Well, I am going to be energized, grounded, making a meaningful difference on my little island here in Bermuda and in the global community. My partner and I will be celebrating 25 years of union. And so I'm going to be 50 pounds lighter, working out regularly, living an active lifestyle, and I'm going to have 100,000 net earnings through coaching partnerships, and an active coaching business. And I'm going to be contributing towards my community through Empower Me Bermuda, the ICF ethics community, one-to-one coaching, and the Bermuda Coaching Network.
Oh, thanks, Norma. I know that's probably just a glimpse of what you wrote. And I want to remind all of you what Sara said is we're listening to this partly to deepen it in each of you, but to inspire. So Norma, great inspiration goals. Don, we'll go to you.
Well, one of the things that bubbled up for me is when you were talking about the love dimension, is having a mutual acceptance and support with my wife and daughter. I find myself so often hoping and wanting things for them that may be beyond where they are. So I'm thinking having a graceful way to accept what is and embrace that, and then look for the joy that can come from where that is would be helpful. And then from there, work on an alignment of where we go in the future. Over on the work side, my vision at the end of the year is that I found some great partners with whom to grow and serve in the area that I'm focusing now on promoting a healthy climate, and that we're engaging some really impactful groups that want to make a difference and are looking for how to make some big leaps in what they do, and that I can be helpful to them in catalyzing that.
Thank you. Thanks, Don. Lance, go ahead.
Thank you, Dave. Happy New Year. Well, the first thing is I want a new home, and my husband and we've been looking kind of for a place to settle down outside of the city. But every time I go back to this and I'm invited to think bigger and ask what I really want, I realize I think I want to design it myself. And I maybe even want to build it myself. And so, so the vision is like definitely getting bigger and just more personal. Under the doing, I wrote, I want to expand my voice. And I'm not sure in ways, I wrote, expand my voice in ways that I don't even know are available right now. So that might be podcasts, but I want an expansion of my voice. And the doing part, I wrote, I want to commit more deeply to showing up from my higher self more often.
Yeah. Well, I do want to point out that you're showing up right now. You sure seem to be clear, and your vision is inspiring. Well, thank you. All right, now we want to just see who else wants to share what you've written, what you've considered. So you can either raise your hand through the react button, or you can just wave your hand, and Bill and I and Sarah will look around the screen and see if, Ray, go ahead, Ray. So Sarah and I will both listen to you because you are one of our biggest fans.
Oh, yeah.
We are two of your biggest fans. That's what I wanted to say, but you're still muted.
Oh, no. And now I think we've got you, Ray.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what happened.
That's all right.
Your technical issues. I want to run a 10K, so I'm not running at all now. But I just celebrated my 86th birthday 2 days ago, and I want to run a 10K in this coming year. I'm looking forward to a big family reunion in Buffalo, where my wife's family lives. That's going to be a lot of fun. Another family love reunion thing is spending individual time with my 2 daughters, and I'm looking forward to that. And finally, healing my voice. I've had some throat and voice issues, and I want my voice to be much clearer so I can speak joyfully, powerfully to people I love and to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Oh, Dad, you're muted. I thought maybe I would have help with the echoes. So,
in addition to old friends, I'd like to call on one of my oldest acquaintances, who's my cousin, and his wife. Go ahead, Bob and Jen. You are muted, but you're going to unmute yourself in just a second. There you go. Go ahead, Bob.
One thing that Jen and I want to do is create some more jobs this next year. and we've got some room in our company, and we do IT work, as Dave probably knows. Actually, Dave should be doing the IT work because he had the computer engineering or computer science degree, and I just fiddled with them. But we that's one of the things that we want to do. We really enjoy creating not just jobs, but good jobs that pay well and are fulfilling and that people have fun doing, which is a lot of what Dave did in his business. And we've always enjoyed that association.
Thanks, Bob. And yeah, I really like the idea of bringing fun into everything you all do. So if you haven't added that, because I think that life, as most of us know, is pretty short, and the older we get, the more aware we are of it. So let's add a little fun. Parker, what would you like to share? Go ahead. Thanks. Go ahead, Parker.
Okay, hi everyone. So I want a year-long season of happy, love, health, prosperity, and acknowledgement. I want happy where my hips dip. I want love so that my heart sings. Health where I can cha-cha away the feelings of not being able to do something and totally can do something. I want prosperity where the drumbeat is of a great overflow of funds and joy. And I want to just be able to stand in acknowledgement of my own personal and professional greatness.
Wow. Oh. Parker, listening to you is like listening to a song. It's really wonderful, wonderful. So I love that Melinda shared in this chat how inspired she was by hearing others. So letting us be inspired by Parker's words and rhythms and hip dips. And I love that. Erica, you
Erica.
have our last share, and then we'll switch gear into another prompt for you all to write and reflect.
Thank you. Thank you. Just a couple of things as we're getting started. First is more grace in life with myself and others. And so that's, I think, in the being category domain. And then also, this is perhaps similar or related, but a much greater acceptance of the sweeping changes that are happening in life that are coming into like how the fabric of society is changing with the new technologies, like the way in which we're doing everything, but just a greater acceptance of that, which the only part I can really see is shifting from like a former era into a new era and really getting to a point of being able to welcome it. So there's that. And then for my husband and myself, to really begin to explore what is the last third of our life about. So, and this is, so I need to define this perhaps a little further because it's not particular accomplishments or having things as our younger years was so much about. I think there's a mystery. I don't know really because I'm just getting there, but I think there's a mystery and a wonder about the last 30 of your life that what I can see is that contains mentoring, very different from the younger years, and contributing, of course, throughout. But I suspect there's something much, much more that either hasn't been spoken about or we have yet to discover in the qualities and the richness of a life experience. So, in a very rough way, I'm just saying exploring or being open to what is the last third about. And as Dave just said, we don't have, we're not here for a very long time. So it's kind of digging in with that. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you, Roka. Your sharing of more grace with yourself really resonated with me. And I see that one of my greatest mentors in life, Lynn Twist, is on our call today. And I did a ritual with me where I washed my hands and Lynn literally dried them after of self-criticism, of that old habit I had of just being too hard on myself. I'm with you in just extending grace to ourselves in this year to come. So I can't believe it. Our time together has flown by. We've got one more writing exercise, but I want to remind you for these last minutes together that our purpose today is for you to begin to create. Please let today just be a beginning. Please keep writing in the days and weeks to come, and do it in partnership with those you love. But that today was a beginning of creating 2025 as one of the best years of your life, filled with authentic happiness, deep intimacy, vibrant health, full celebration, and meaningful contribution. So in service of that purpose, we want to invite you to reflect now on what did you discover or rediscover about yourself today? What did you learn or relearn? What are you celebrating? What intentions, promises, goals do you have as a result of today's session? And some of you who've known Dave for a long time know that that elliptical pencil for writing was one that is just almost as old as I am. So let's take 2 minutes now to write and reflect, and then we'll have one last round of sharing. Wonderful. So if you have a discovery or an intention from today's call or a celebration, please raise your virtual hand. Lori.
And if you've just joined, because I saw a few of you just joined, I'm thinking you joined an hour late. We're just completing this webinar. You can watch it. It's recorded. Sarah will send out a link from Zoom. I'll also post it on my my website, and I'll send you a link to that. It's in the group chat. But I Sure look forward to hearing from Lori and many more of you.
Hi, well, it's so much fun for me to be with all of you. And hi, Norma. And I could go on, of course. And Lynn, I hear Lynn's on, so that's really fun. But Dave and Sarah, thank you so much. Dave is certainly one of my heroes. I thank my stars for Dave. And what I was going to say was, well, it's really a rediscovery, how much I've missed being with friends and reconnecting. And so you're going to love this, Dave. Yesterday it was 9 or 10 below zero. And the older members of the ski group that I haven't been with in a long time really wanted to leave at that hour, at that temperature, to go for a ski. So I guess my point was that even when that I want to connect enough that even when it's really cold with hand warmers and everything else, I'm going to, by God, join my friends and get out there and reconnect. So I guess the point is, even when it takes more effort and is less convenient and maybe uncomfortable a little bit, then I'm going to push into it and honor what it is that I really desire, which is the connection. In nature, too, I might add.
Yeah. And I think that it always requires a little extra effort to join our friends because there's always an easier path.
Right.
But minus 9 or 10, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Is it Jeffrey or Grover?
It's Grover Jeffrey.
Oh, Grover Jeffrey, just like it says. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And short explanation, I mean, my father and grandfather were both Grover, so a whole lot of the world knows me as Jeff, and then a whole lot of the world knows me as Grover, so I'm putting them together.
Love it.
I just really appreciate this last part because in the reflecting, and I was with y'all last year doing this process and enjoyed it, and my wife and I sat around last night just reflecting on how great things are. It's and there some are really little things, or some are big things. But for me, it is really to relish and sit in that contentedness and enjoy that. We're both retired. We've had extensive amounts of contributing. I hear people's names that we've been involved with, etc. We've worked in multiple states and projects. But what I'm enjoying now, and what I just thought of in this part, is to enjoy locally the things that present themselves. We're still engaged in lots of stuff, but like every day there are plenty of opportunities to contribute, whether it's standing in the line at the grocery store or it doesn't matter, whoever calls. So I'm enjoying that. Plus we're very committed to vacationing and taking care of ourselves, etc. And so that's for me, it's living in that contentness, and then contributing as required. So thanks.
Awesome, Grover Jeffrey. Love that. So important to have both, right? A life of rich rewards and contributing a lot to others. I love that about the communities that we work in. Well, speaking of, we want to invite you to our upcoming webinars, and A Plan's next webinar is with one of my favorite social change makers, Sam Daly Harris, who I got to know because of his work with my dad, but ran into when we were both speaking at a Stanford Social Innovation Review conference this fall. So Sam will be speaking about reclaiming our democracy, every citizen's guide to transformational advocacy. And the link for that webinar is in the chat. And so we'd love to have you join us for that. And as always, like today, there'll be a recording if you're not able to join us live, and it will be highly interactive as well. So Dad, over to you for the final word.
Well, as another invitation also in the chat, you can sign up if you haven't for my bi-weekly webinars. It'll start next week, an hour after, later than this time at 11 Pacific time, and it'll be observed coaching, which I've done for years and have not done much in a virtual Zoom environment. So I'm really looking forward to that. But mostly what I want to do is end with an appreciation First of all, to you, Sarah, thanks for inviting me to your webinar and being co-creator. It's just a great fun to do that with you. And then thank you, all of you who attended and who are watching this recording, because I believe that you can remember all the times you've been with Sarah or have been with me and bring yourself back to those learning experiences and to feel what you did then, the regard that we have for you, and the huge love that we have for you. So thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again soon.
Yes, and if you'd like to unmute and say goodbye or hello to somebody on the call that you love, we know there's, as it's been mentioned, many beloved relationships here. So
Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.
Good to see
Great to
everyone.
see
Thank you,
you.
Dave and Fran.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Happy New Year.
Bye, Bill.
Bye.
Bye-bye.